This is On the Subject, the show discussing film, TV, and beyond, with your hosts Logan Noggle and Zachary Jackson, featuring Malcolm Russell Nelson. Everybody, go with the theme song.
I'm Zach.
I'm Malcolm.
And today we are starting with Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy.
This is Batman Begins, directed by Christopher Nolan, with a screenplay from Christopher Nolan and David Goyer. Came out June 2005. Did you see it in theaters?
I did. I saw it after summer school.
Nice.
I didn't want to go home yet. I was at the bus stop. I was like, movie theater is on the same route, so I just went.
That's awesome.
I was by myself too, because I remember my friends talking about it, and they liked it, but they were making fun of them trying to make the things realistic.
Oh, okay.
And also, I remember they didn't understand a lot of the jokes. They took everything just at face value. Because they were complaining about he's just like a spelunker. It's weird. I was like, oh, it was a joke. I was like,
it's literally a joke in the movie.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Okay.
These are my stoner friends.
That's totally fine. That is totally fine.
Yeah, I saw that at 4 o'clock, I think, on a Thursday or something.
Nice.
Yeah, I loved it.
So good. So I have two stories about Batman Begins. First off, I saw it opening weekend. I dragged my parents, basically. Told them that week, I was like, listen, we don't really do stuff as a family together. This weekend Batman Begins coming out, I think it would be really cool. I'll treat you guys. Let's go to the movies. They're like, okay, cool. Yeah, let's do that. So we go that Saturday. I didn't have any money. so I got my dad to pay for it. Best thing was both my mom and dad fell asleep in it, but I was captivated. So story 2. So it's end of May 2005, and I'm 14. Smallville is the hottest show on CW. On what was the WB at that time? Actually, it was before the CW. And for the season finale for Smallville, they extended it by 10 minutes because they were going to show 10 minutes of footage from Batman Begins. And I'm like, this is other than the trailers, this is the first foot. That's gonna be awesome. So I watched the Smallville finale. Now I had get ready, kids. This is real old. I had the VHS tape player ready to record, because I was like, I'm going to record this 10 minutes because I'm going to watch it over and over again. And so the Smallville finale happened, which that was, say what you will about Smallville, I think they always rock the finales. I think the finales are always good. And I think, I want to say that's the season 4 finale, which would be the last episode that Jensen Ackles was on before he took the Supernatural gig, which is interesting.
That sounds right. Yeah, because that's when I started watching that.
Because Supernatural started afterward. Yeah. Yeah, so season 4, that was the one with the rocks and everything, and then at the end of the season they form the rocks together and it becomes the crystal to make the fortress, and you're like, oh my god, it's the Fortress of Solitude. That's the end of the season. That's so cool. So Smallville ends, screen goes black, and they're like, and now exclusive 10-minute look at Batman Begins. So I was like, all right, hit record. And they played 2 scenes. I want you to guess the 2 scenes that they played.
The one where he goes to the hotel with the 2 girls, and the part where he saves what's her name near the subway.
No, neither of those. That's a good guess, though. It was 2 scenes and then a sizzle reel, which I expected it to just be 1 scene and a sizzle reel. I was like, okay, they're not going to show a lot of the movie, but they're probably going to show a 6-minute fast cut trailer, and then 1 scene. So they played 2 scenes. The second one that they played, I'm saying them out of order because it makes more sense if they played them the way they were out of order. So the second scene that they played was the first Bruce and Lucius scene of him going through all the tech and then driving the car. It was meant to be a bridging vehicle, like that whole thing. So that's the second scene they played. The first scene they played the entirety of the training montage.
Wow.
The entirety of it. Like him talking to Ducard on the ledge, and then Ducard being like, come, we'll show you what to do. And then they go through all the training stuff, and it's intercut with them fighting on the ice. And that your parents' death was not your fault; it was your father's. Like they showed all of it, up to him falling in the ice, and then that was when they cut it and went to the other scene. That was the greatest 10 minutes of my life. Because I was like, this sequence is awesome. If this is any indication of how the movie's going to be, it's going to be the best. And it was. Story over. But I will always remember that so vividly, of like that being my first exposure. Like I was already excited that they were using like Ducard anyway. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like Ducard and Ra's al Ghul's gonna be in it, and you know, I know there's gonna be Scarecrow and stuff. This is gonna be great. But they took it so serious and so legit, and then showed him being trained to be a straight up ninja. And I'm like, this is the coolest thing. Oh my god, I can't believe it.
I don't know why I wasn't on board for like the longest time.
Really?
Yeah. I guess I've never been like a huge Batman fan. That's part of it.
That's fair.
And
this was right in my Batman stage.
Yeah. And it definitely
14
wasn't.
is the perfect Batman age.
And it definitely wasn't because Batman and Robin was bad. Like I liked that when I was a kid. It's stupid, but I enjoyed it. So like I didn't have any negative like association with Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like whenever I saw trailers, I think I was more just like, where's the like Spider-Man coming out? Like, I was definitely more
That's
excited
the thing.
for Spider-Man at the time.
It was the year after Spider-Man 2, and it's like, well, it's not going to get better than this.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is obviously an origin story for Batman. Do you want to start with the rundown of it?
Yeah. So it's
brief too.
Let's see. I mean, we start off. We see the death of Bruce Wayne's parents. Bruce Wayne disappears. He, as an adult, Bruce Wayne disappears. And through storytelling reasons, we find out it's because he, you know, the killer of his parents was brought to justice, but he didn't see that justice being fit. I mean, he's sort of brought to justice, like he got shot down, but you know,
I was like, I like that kind of justice.
Bruce wasn't into that, but Bruce thought that his line of justice is different and better, and so he goes off and explores the world, trying to hone his skills and his craft to become something else, to become someone else. Along the way, he meets Henry Ducard. First off, Bruce Wayne, played by Christian Bale. He meets Henry Ducard in a prison, which that prison scene is so good.
Oh yeah. All the flashback stuff is my favorite.
All the
part.
flashbacks. Oh,
I mean,
it's the
flashbacks of him
movie, like,
training.
The first half is so good.
Yeah.
So good. Like once he becomes Batman, I think it still holds up. But
yeah.
the beginning is so good. So he meets Ducard, and Ducard tells him of a place where he can really become exactly what he wants to be, and that is
Dancer.
Yep, that is Flashdance.
Prima ballerina.
The Munich Circus. That is a different kind of justice, and that's under the tutelage of Ra's al Ghul.
Mr. Ra's al Ghul.
Mr. Ra's al Ghul. Yeah, everyone says it differently in this movie. And just in life in general.
Yeah.
Well, Bruce has a falling out with them after being trained by them. Burns down their house, leaves them for dead.
A lot of house burning in this movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of house burning in this movie. It's kind of great. So he decides to return home to Gotham City and become a new brand of justice for Gotham City, right at the same time that new threats are rising up. Specifically, crime is just out of control in Gotham City.
Crime, is it bad?
More on that later. And it's the beginning of the rise of a crazy man named Jonathan Crane, played wonderfully by Cillian Murphy.
So good.
So good. Sells it so well.
What's his name? He plays Falcone. I like him a lot too.
Oh yeah. Oh God, why am I blanking on his name? Wilkinson. Tom Wilkinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so good. That speech in the bar, I guess, kind of.
Yeah.
Like the bank, like I could kill you right here. No one would bat an eye. Like there's a senator right there. Like, it's like you always feel what you don't understand. So good. Rutger Hauer's really good in it too.
Oh, yeah.
He's not in it a lot, but he's really good as Mr. Earl, the corporate bad guy of the movie. But yeah, back in Gotham, Bruce becomes allies with Morgan Freeman.
Just hanging out.
Just hanging out. Morgan Freeman, who's done nothing wrong ever.
Take.
Morgan Freeman, who suspiciously is never in a scene with Katie Holmes in this movie.
He tried.
Don't feel good about that joke. Did you see his whole statement about
Yeah.
that? Like, I just want to make everyone feel comfortable. Like, Jesus. What a jerk.
Yeah.
God. So yeah, he gets, yes. So Bruce gets his toys from Morgan Freeman's Lucius Fox. He gets moral support from Alfred, Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine. Michael Caine.
Never gonna be good at it.
Michael Caine. Oh, he's supposed to blow the bloody jaws off. And becomes friends with Jim Gordon, played again wonderfully by Gary Oldman. I think one of his finest roles. It's like in the top 20 at least. Gary Oldman's just great in general. But you know what's under it? Winston Churchill. Anyway.
Like 2 hours of him screaming.
Come on. That's the movie he won an Oscar for.
Right.
Like, that's a pity Oscar. That's what that is. That's Leo winning for whatever it was that he won for a couple years ago.
The Revenant.
Yeah, Revenant. When he should have gotten it for Wolf of Wall Street. That's all that is. This is his Revenant. Thanks, Academy.
Academy's a joke.
Academy's a joke. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's
Yeah.
it's a basic synopsis.
Yeah.
Then he punches crime in the face.
Yes. Gets
Has a
tased.
sweet car. Doesn't get the girl. Love that. Katie Holmes, and one of the two things I like Katie Holmes in.
I think she's okay. Like in this.
Like, she's fine. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
she's like whatever.
Yeah.
I sort of like Gyllenhaal more in
I like
Dark
that.
Knight.
I like the thing that Gyllenhaal brings to it.
Yeah.
She brings something else to it. Like, she's a little more playful. Whereas, like, it's funny, listening to that Blank Check episode made me realize it. Like, God, Katie Holmes is so mean to him. The entire movie.
He deserves it.
He does, but, like, even when he comes back, like, she's so mean and rude. And he's just like, man, I just want to kiss that girl. It's like, why? Like, she's so mean. Like, so he's like, you're not good enough, Bruce. Like, that's it. There's that scene where she just spits in his face and smacks him. You know, like, yeah.
He starts crying. She starts laughing.
She just laughs at him, then breaks like a glow stick over his head and pours it on him. Like, yeah. It's a really weird scene. It doesn't really fit in with the context of
The
the movie.
homage to Ed Schumacher's Batman movie.
Exactly. It was a very specific reference.
So, what do you like and dislike about this movie?
I really like how serious they take it. Like, I really appreciate how I guess intense is the word. How serious they take it. Like, they don't try to make it be like, they don't. Okay, a thing that comic book movies do now is be like, okay, like, yes, it takes place in the real world, but we know it's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
You know, like, the Marvel movies are great at doing that. Whereas, like, yeah, we know that, like, the idea of, like, this nerdy, nebbish guy who turns out to be, like, a giant monster thing, it's kind of stupid. Like, we're going to have fun with that. We're going to play with that because we know it's a joke, whatever. It's a book. It's a comic book. But this takes it so seriously. It's the first one to really do that, I think, where it's just like, whoa, like, this is heavy. Like, this is Dire Straits. This is Gotham City, kid. Gotham City is effed up. You know, like, I really like that, but I also kind of hate that at the same time.
Yeah, I was going to say, I like and dislike that.
I like and dislike it.
This movie does it well, but it
Yes.
made these other movies like, oh, let's copy that, and they
That's
do
the
it
thing.
so poorly.
This was the beginning of that trend.
Yeah.
It's what Dark Knight Returns does in comics. Like, when Dark Knight Returns comes out, everyone sees that as, oh, wow, that's taking Batman really seriously. That's really earnest. That's how Batman should be done. And Batman has never not been that since. Since, like, 1980 something.
Yeah.
It's just been that.
Yeah. It's definitely a similar situation, but I did not like Batman or Dark Knight,
Dark Knight Returns?
that
No,
much.
hey, same. It's fine.
It's too, like, cynical.
It's fine.
But,
it's very cynical.
Yeah. I like that this brings it down to earth, kind of, even though it's always going to be a goofy idea.
Yeah.
Like, a guy, some rich kid going off train with ninjas to learn to fight crime.
Yeah.
But,
it's silly.
I appreciate the way, like, it goes out of its way to explain how he gets all of his gadgets. And
and gives it, like, a logical explanation of, like, oh, yeah, this is all stuff that, like, could have been for the military, but they passed on it.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough funding for it, so we only have the prototypes.
And it's not, like, heavy-handed, like,
No.
like some of the stuff in Solo is.
Yes.
like, just the way he gets his last name so stupid.
That's the worst.
But,
It's funny, because I really like the first half of that movie, like, a lot. Like, I think that's the stronger part. But, man, there's a lot of those eye-rolling moments. Just like, ugh. Come on.
Yeah, it's funny because you can tell part of the reason they did the realistic take is because the previous Batman movies were so just out there.
So,
it's like
especially Batman and Robin.
Yeah, because it's like mixing 60s, 70s Batman with the Tim Burton
with the Tim
stuff.
Burton 80s stuff.
And just get weird, like, acid dream stuff. But,
the skates, man.
It gets a little goofy towards the end with the microwave emitter plan. And,
what? That's such a good idea.
It also happens to be the same act where, like, an army of ninjas appears.
Yeah.
But I still like it, though.
Yeah, it's...
Like, I really love the island. Basically, just like of all the prisoners being released.
Oh, yeah. I like that idea a lot, of, like, Arkham being completely... So, before it's even Arkham, you know? It's just like a jail or whatever. But, yeah, I like that a lot. The Narrows.
The whole movie does prequel, right? Basically,
yes,
it's not a prequel movie.
Absolutely. It is a prequel movie, yeah. But
well, I mean, like,
it
in the
does
sense,
it
like,
right.
I'm weird about prequels because I mean it's the first installment, but it's also like part of a bigger franchise.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
But like, because it's got Gordon, who's not commissioner yet, and you understand that he's a good cop stuck in like a bad cop's world, which sucks.
Yep.
And then it's got like the whole love interest thing for Bruce, like leads to why he doesn't like having
anybody.
Yeah.
Why he's alone all the time.
Which the comics step away from too often, I feel like.
Yes. I mean, listen, we're like weeks away from him marrying Catwoman.
Yeah.
That's a thing. That shouldn't be a thing.
I'll only
That's
read
crazy.
that if everybody shows up in costume.
So it's funny. I read a few of the preview pages for. They have like the prelude, like Bat Family books, you know. So it's like Nightwing and Hush is this week's, and I read a preview for that, and in that it's mentioned that Batman and Catwoman are getting married, but Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle are not getting publicly married. And I'm like, that's interesting. Because that means we could have a costumed wedding. And if everyone's in costume at that wedding, that's what I want. That sounds great.
Is Alfred officiating the wedding? Or is one of the Justice Leaguers? Because if he's Batman, though, it'd be weird. It's like, what's Bruce Wayne's butler doing up there?
I just do the Lego Batman movie thing where he just wears an old Batman costume. Like, he just wears the one from the 60s. Like.
Another thing I really like about this movie, which I think they don't do it as well in the next two, is just Metropolis. Gotham.
Yeah.
Gotham. Again, the other ones, they feel more like Metropolis.
That is absolutely true. The others, it legitimately is Philly.
Yeah. Like, Gotham, this one like has character. Like,
Yeah.
it's got those darker, like, I don't want to say sepia, but like these brown tones to everything at night.
Yeah, it looks gothic. Like,
Yeah.
Gotham should always look gothic, and
The train itself really brings it together too. I feel like. You know?
and I like the idea behind the train, like the story reason behind the train of like, oh, like, you know, the Waynes built that thing to, you know, unite the parts of the city and be a beacon of hope. And then you see it, and it's like, oh, but it turned to crap because they were the only ones who believed that, and naturally, everything in that city just turns to garbage. That's kind of great. Yeah.
One thing that I dislike about this movie, and all of them really, is because they're trying to be so realistic, I feel like they don't embrace the Bat gadget stuff at all. Like because he's got batarangs, but he barely uses them.
Yeah.
I think in this one, like, he only throws them at a wall,
It
and like he holds them. Like,
it doesn't make sense for him to have batarangs in this world, like, at all. Actually, that's the least practical, like, gadget that he has, but they have to have it because it's Batman.
like,
Yeah.
even like I do like when he does use them, like how he uses them as like punching daggers, basically.
Yeah.
Like, I like that; it's fine.
Yeah.
But like his utility belt is even whatever. I don't know. Like the tumbler's awesome.
Tumbler's awesome.
It's,
Tumbler might be my favorite Batman movie.
I was gonna say it's not my favorite, but I do
It's
like
in
it
the
a
top
lot.
5. It's in the top 5.
One of my favorite scenes is Gordon inside the tumbler.
Oh, I love that bit where he's getting, like, brought into it.
Yeah.
Like, oh. He looks so surprised. It's on, like, the old man surprise face. It's so funny.
Scarecrow's probably the biggest highlight of this movie for me.
I was gonna say, what are your favorite, like, performances in a movie?
Yeah, because Murphy as Scarecrow, I really like.
Yeah.
Especially in the scene where he's talking to Falcone.
The Have You Seen My Mask?
Yeah. It's like Falcone's just like, yeah, whatever. Just get me out of here. He's like, oh no, it's time to play. That's what you hired me for.
It's so good.
It's great. I love that he's in all 3 of these movies.
Yes, I like that he's the through line.
Yeah.
That's a nice touch. He's kind of the Loki of these movies.
'Cause-
Like, very subtly, he's the Loki of these movies.
It's funny because like I've always liked Scarecrow, but this is the first time like where I think he's actually a effective villain.
Yeah.
Because like in the animated series and everything, he doesn't do a lot. Like I think there's an episode where he traps Batman in a bank vault. That might even be a different villain. I don't know. It's been a very long time.
You're actually thinking of Batman Forever. With the boiling acid.
But yeah, because I love his design. Just like the mask is so creepy.
Yeah,
And then when he sprays people, it's like even gross.
Yeah, it's gross. Yeah, it's gross. Like, and he does it like right in the mouth too, like right in the face. I love his design in these movies of like, it's the burlap sack mask, but the suit.
Yeah.
He looks completely clean and normal from the neck down.
Yeah, because
he's got that creepy burlap sack mask.
Because I've never been like a fan of the like Quaker Pilgrim. Like,
No, it's
the mask has always been
kind of cool,
part.
but kind of stupid at the same time. Yeah.
And then like the video games, like Arkham Asylum,
Yeah,
they take
the
it
super,
too
like,
far.
Doctor, with the listen, I love John Noble, but like the visual design of his Scarecrow is awful.
Yeah.
Of like the needle hands, like that's dumb. Like
The Bane in that is one of the worst Banes I've ever
it's
seen.
the most offensive. But he does say Bruja, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that he at least speaks Spanish. Like, that's nice. What's your least favorite performance in a movie?
It's tough because they're all pretty solid.
Like, I think at the worst, they're serviceable for the movie.
Yeah, I think going off of that, I think Rachel
Katie Holmes.
Yeah, Katie Holmes.
Yeah, I would say probably
she's just very.
Katie Holmes.
She's like
she's just there.
She's plain toast. It's
She's
like,
the girl.
Yeah.
That's all. Like, that's all she is in that movie. She's the girl.
Yeah.
Like, at least Maggie Gyllenhaal, for like a little bit of it, tries to not be the girl.
She ends up being the girl for 2 different guys.
But then she ends up being the girl for 2 different guys. That's exactly.
I love that she's like shuts down Bruce in number 2 like completely.
That's
It's like can't have a life.
the best scene in number 2. That's the best scene in number 2.
Talk
It's
about that
that
more next
lumped
time.
with her reading the letter.
Yeah.
and being like I'm picking Harvey, like because I can't pick you. Like it's so good, and the delivery on that is really good too.
I think Alfred's my close second for best performance.
Alfred's really
So good. Like he's good in all of them. In 3, he's a little much, but I think the script is a little
and he's
much.
not even in 3 a lot. Is
Yeah.
the thing, so it's weird that he's a little much. Yeah, but yeah, I think he's the best in 1.
It's not him though. It's the script is flawed for 3.
Yes, and yeah, I still like 3 more than Dark Knight.
Really?
I do. In the context of this trilogy,
You're
yes,
crazy.
I do. I do. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. It's a little seed for you.
Yeah. Oh, friggin' what's his name? Greasy guy. I love him.
Flass?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that the bit with the falafel stand makes
Yeah.
me laugh every time I watch that movie. Just like I got Flass. I have kids to feed. He's like, what? They don't like falafel?
It's a good jerk move. Then what's the commissioner's name?
Loeb.
I like him because
Commissioner
he feels like they took like just a cop, like a side cop from The Wire, and put him into this.
Yeah,
because he's just
does.
like, I'm gonna go out of my way to make sure your life is hard.
Yeah, especially like in Dark Knight, like he
Oh, yeah.
really feels like he's just a regular cop from something else.
They do bad cops well. In
They
these
do,
movies.
yes.
But, like if you take like the Gotham show, they do bad cops so poorly.
Oh,
It's like a joke.
Yeah.
It's like
It's a terrible stereotype of bad cops. Like,
yeah, it's like, why would I do that when I could do nothing?
exactly. Nah, I don't see nothing there. Like,
Dude,
yeah.
I gotta leave the seat. It's like we're watching like Brooklyn Nine-Nine make fun of Batman.
Exactly.
Weird. It's like all the cops in Gotham are Scully and Hitchcock
That's exactly it. Yeah. Whereas like
with
this,
less personality.
Yeah, somehow.
Hate Gotham,
Whereas
by the
like
way.
that, Batman Begins, like even down to the cops, like everyone's kind of gross and dirty.
Yeah.
I really like that. That just goes back to making like Gotham feel like a character, like and feel like Gotham. Like every aspect of it is gross. You know, like I don't know why anyone would want to live there.
Yeah.
In Batman Begins, in like Dark Knight, like the worst thing about it is like, oh, there's a really bright light in the middle of the night. You know, like that sucks. Like, but like, yeah, it seems pretty gross and offensive. Like, I don't know why anyone would live there in Batman Begins, which is nice, especially the Narrows. Like,
Oh, yeah.
jeez,
It's like actual Chicago. It's like
yeah,
it's like actual bad
exactly.
parts of Chicago.
Yeah, it's bad. Like, yeah, it's before the nice cleanup of Chicago. You know, like it's weird.
What do you think of the action in this movie?
I like the action. I don't love it, and I think that might be just because we're kind of accustomed to a different style of action nowadays. I think this is one of the superhero films where they started doing like more practical stuff. I think the practical stuff looks pretty good. But it's not a super action-packed movie,
Yeah.
which I kind of like about it.
So like when he fights hand to hand, I don't like any of that action except for
It's because you don't like him fighting with his elbows.
well, it's weird because it's like how much of the camera can I block so I don't have to actually
Yeah,
do a lot.
so you can't see that it's not me.
Yeah, but I like the scene when he's training with Ducard on the ice.
That's the
Then-
best action scene in the whole movie.
I like the chase.
The car chase?
Yeah, it's probably my favorite. Action scene
That looks really good too.
because in all three of these movies they do vehicle stuff really well,
Vehicle stuff
except
is
for
very
the
good. Except for the
Batwing
bat.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it just called the Bat?
yeah, I think it's just called the
Yeah.
Bat.
Like
Yeah.
each time I watch
Listen,
it,
Dark Knight Rises has problems. The first one is naming it just the Bat.
then but like the hand to hand in the third one I like a lot. It's
Yeah.
still not great. It looks like two
It
big
looks a little
guys
sharper.
fighting. It's
Yes,
like, they're
exactly.
just
It looks
tossing
uncomfortable.
haymakers.
Yeah, like it looks really uncomfortable. Yeah, I think when it's him fighting one person in Batman Begins, it looks a lot better than say him fighting the crowd of people. Like when he drops in on Scarecrow's like operation,
Yeah.
and it's like him in the middle of everybody. Like that looks messy. But it's also, I feel like they didn't really know how to film it. You know, because they look like they're having a hard time trying to get a good view of where he is.
Yeah.
You know,
What do you think of the Bat voice in this one?
This is the best Bat Boys one.
Yeah, definitely.
This is the best one.
It's still weird to me, especially.
It's a little rough, but it's more believable than
like it's weird because I didn't even think about it the first few times I saw it when I was younger. But then when I went back after people were making jokes about it,
yeah,
it was
like, oh yeah,
noticeable. Like when he's talking to Rachel for the first time after he stops like the two muggers or whatever.
Yeah. She teases him.
Yeah, like he
he
sounds so weird to me, that part where he's like, sometimes you gotta rattle the key. Whatever the hell he says.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that is weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not like offensively bad in this one.
There's some great moments where he speaks in this, like when he's like whispering in Gordon's ear, he's like, Rachel, dog.
He does that weird like pouty lip.
Yeah,
like,
it's the beginning of him having a lip problem.
Yeah, the mask is like squishing his face.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's not even like the really bad mask yet.
Yeah,
because like the Dark Knight one, like that squishes his face even more, and that's why he always has his mouth open.
Yeah, that's another thing I dislike about these movies overall, and they even try to address it in Dark Knight with the suit.
Turn your head.
Yeah, the suit is so like cumbersome looking, and
I think mainly the headpieces.
Yeah,
I think the rest of the suit looks fine, but
like it looks good, but like when he's moving, it's also awkward.
Yeah,
like and they try to address that in Dark Knight when it's like, oh, it's like better for, was it dog attack? Really, I can't remember.
Yeah, it's a big dog.
And I don't like that design as much, but I like that he can move some more. It makes me more comfortable.
Yeah, it's funny. When that first came out, I really liked that design, but the more I think about it, I don't like the
weird like plates. Would make it look so strange.
It looks odd. Also, yeah, way more vulnerable. Come on. Just gotta slip a knife in between those things. And that happens in every one of those movies. Like,
I never saw this coming.
Yeah, exactly. Like, are you really? You didn't see it coming? Like, someone did it to you 20 minutes ago. Right? What are you talking about? Like, come on. Come on. Like, yeah, it makes you faster, but it makes you a lot weaker, man. Jeez. Play an Overwatch game, buddy. Like, God, come on. The fast guys are the weak ones. Like,
and, that's another thing I really like about this one, going back to, like, the realism thing, is Batman feels vulnerable through most of it.
Yes. He's not Bat-God.
Yeah.
Where that is the most famous interpretation of Batman is Bat-God.
Drives me crazy.
Yeah, same. This is, and that's why I like the realistic take. Is like, this is a Batman who, like, I get that guy. Like, I totally understand. Like, oh, if I trained hard enough and I practiced enough, like, I could maybe be that guy. He's a realistic enough dude, as opposed to, like, let's say Ben Affleck Batman. No one's gonna be that guy. No one's gonna be that guy.
The weird thing where he's like swinging across the ceiling and
yeah, where he literally moves like a wraith, which I kind of love but hate at the same time. Like, the first shot of him just like hanging there, like when the cop notices that he's there, he's just it's like a horror movie. It's kind of awesome. It's weird, but it's awesome.
Let's say something else.
Okay.
What?
I got a weird email.
Yeah.
Something I tried to send, I guess didn't send.
Email things. I forgot.
What do you think this adds to the series? Like, what do you think this movie adds to Batman? Does it add anything to Batman? Does it take away things from Batman?
I think it, like you brought up the Bat God thing, and I'm trying to remember when that started with like Grant Morrison doing all that stuff.
Yeah, but, that's what's credited as like the start. But
yeah,
I kind of see
that's where it gets
like
crazy.
Yeah, that's where it gets really
like
crazy.
It was like the match thing with the Martians or whatever.
See, I only like Bat-God when Morrison does it.
See,
if Morrison's doing Bat-God, it makes sense because it's Morrison.
When he has fun with it,
craziest bastard on the planet.
Yeah, when he has fun with it, I like it, but it's like annoying to me because it brought all these other things. It's like, he's Batman. That's why he won.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
I like the level of realism, quote unquote.
Yeah.
It's
just earnest.
Yeah,
like it's just genuinely earnest, like to a shocking degree.
This is the most human that I think Batman has felt, and I think that's what I think it really adds to the Batman franchise.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. I would definitely agree with that.
It just like really settles like these characters It's like, this is how Jim Gordon is. This is how Lucius Fox is.
I think it's my favorite interpretation of Jim Gordon.
Yeah, it's definitely mine.
Like, I think Gary Oldman, especially in Batman Begins and Dark Knight. Dark Knight Rises, I have a little bit of a problem with it, but you could argue that they set up for it.
Mm.
But I have a bit of a problem with his characterization in that. But like, especially in Batman Begins and Dark Knight, like, I think that is how Gordon should be characterized. It's just like, yeah, like, I'm the good cop. I'm just trying to do what I can to hold everything together.
Yeah, I really like that. And I like when he like meets Batman. You can tell he's like, oh, this is not like the cop way, but it's the way we have
but like,
to do things.
Maybe this is the way things should be.
Yeah.
But I don't like it. Like, he clearly doesn't like it, but it's how it's gonna be, you know. What's your favorite scene in the movie? Like, if you had to pick one scene in the movie to watch every day for the rest of your life,
it would probably be the scene where he's escaping from the cops. He gets the bats to come through.
Oh,
like
nice,
that.
yeah.
Not even like,
when he like sweeps up Gordon in
yeah,
it. And there's that bad like cut of like them clearly just doing like the landed thing, you know. Like the stunted, like, oh, we landed, you know.
Like that, because I think that's probably where it gets the most comic booky, which I appreciate, but it's not like too crazy.
That's hella comic booky. It's like, what is that? It's just a giant swarm of bats. Like, it's also the first time that Batman uses bats. He weaponized bats. Like, that's pretty awesome. It's insane.
Is there anything that you think this like takes away from the series, or like diminishes Batman in any way?
The voice. I think for the rest of whenever there's a Batman movie now, there's going to be a voice.
Yeah.
Like, I think that I really appreciate them doing it for this. I think it works. But I think from now on, like, you can't have a Batman movie without him having the Bat voice. That's a new thing in the arsenal, and I don't like that. Like, I think if they just did it for the Nolan ones, that'd be fine. But and I guess maybe they'll find like better ways to do it. Like, I like the idea of Ben Affleck's Batman having the voice modulator. Like, I think that's cool.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, like that's a smart way to do it as opposed to the I talk like this. You know, I mean, and look at the Bat voice between these three movies. It just gets worse and worse. It's like a bit of a cold for Batman Begins, bronchitis for Dark Knight, and then like 400 years of being a smoker for Batman for Dark Knight Rises. Like,
in the middle of a tracheotomy.
Yeah, exactly. It's the I have the microphone up to my neck, like, for that. Like, it's so bad.
I think, yeah, it's...
Anyone can be a hero, even if it's just a man who puts a coat over a boy who died. He sounds like Nick Nolte. Like, Nick Nolte is Batman. Boom. Just casted Dark Knight Returns. You're welcome.
I need to rewatch the scene in Warrior where he's drunk. It's like the Just a really good Nick Nolte noise.
Where it's just noises.
I think the voice definitely, and also like the first thing we mentioned is like the real, like,
the practicality of it all,
realistic dark thing, because it just affects so many things later on where they're just like they don't understand, like they think that being mature and like dark is like murder and sex.
Yes, exactly.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Like they take like this in Dark Knight, they use that as like as the templates. Yeah, as the templates. It's like, but where are you getting these parts from?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
It's strange.
Superheroes got to be real.
Yeah.
They got to fuck.
You didn't curb stomp that guy.
Exactly. It's like, really? Like,
Pussy beta.
Yes, every superhero has to be either Batman or Kick-Ass. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Like,
What? So, what grade would you give this movie?
I would give it an A-.
I think, yeah.
I'll give it an A minus.
I would agree on that.
And again, this is my favorite Batman movie. Everybody. So let's put that into perspective, okay?
One thing I was bringing up. So for some reason in my head, every time I watch this movie, I always relate it to a Bond film. I don't quite know why.
Interesting. Casino Royale? Like what Bond film?
Just Bond type stuff in general.
In general?
Because like the villain isn't like super villainy like you're used to, like in movies at least.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, I've got this weapon.
I could kind of...
Like Bond is usually like, oh, I've got this weapon.
I could see that actually. I could totally see that. You know, and even like he was my friend. You know, it's kind of GoldenEye. This movie's kind of GoldenEye.
I was thinking like GoldenEye. I mix up all the Bond movies in my head. But like, basically anyone with like a weird super weapon.
Yeah. This is kind of... Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Which is funny, because Batman Begins was a big, like...
It's like
I feel like inspiration for Casino Royale. Yeah. Like... I don't know, just even, like, the visual style. Like, they look visually very similar.
It's like dark
which is nice. Yeah, like dark, heavy tones, yeah.
I can't wait till we get to our Bond series.
Oh, boy.
I'd also give this like an A minus though.
Yeah, I think A minus is super fair.
Yeah, because there's nothing I truly dislike about it.
Yeah.
And it brings new stuff to the table.
Oh yeah.
It almost changes superhero movies, but I think Dark Knight fully changes superheroes.
Dark Knight is the big change. This influences superhero movies, especially when you're going into like the Iron Man era. And since Iron Man changed how superhero movie, Iron Man and Dark Knight are the two that changed how superhero movies are done.
Yeah,
in the modern era, and this was a precursor to both of them, and this was an influence on both of them. So I'd say this is kind of the Godfather.
I could definitely see this like influencing Iron Man because it's
Iron Man 100% takes this movie and it's just like, let's just be a little bit funnier.
Yeah,
and then they do it like, and this movie's pretty fun. Like this is the one of the three that has the jokes. Like, it has the situational comedy stuff, which is nice.
What do you think of Batman in this, and what do you think of Bruce Wayne in this? I should have said this earlier.
That's a great question. I think this is the best on-screen portrayal of Batman is in this movie, specifically. Because this is how... If this is the Batman that we're going to get in comics, this is how I want that Batman to be done. So I think this is the best portrayal. As well as this is the best difference between Batman and Bruce Wayne, where you don't get a lot of Bruce Wayne in this. Yeah. When you do, Bruce Wayne is public party boy, fun guy. Like, to the max. Like, that scene of him crawling out of the car and, like, the 6 women crawl out of the car, too, is stupid and ridiculous. And that's exactly what I want Bruce Wayne to be. Like, just over the top, 100% extra. So the difference between, like them selling, okay, as Bruce Wayne, there's no way Bruce Wayne could be Batman. You know, I think that works the best in this movie. In everything else, I think it's pretty obvious that Bruce Wayne is Batman.
See, I do think this is like one of the best Batman interpretations in movies. Bruce Wayne, I could do without.
That's fair. That's super fair.
I feel like Bale's not letting his charisma come through as Wayne.
I think this is the only one that he does. I don't think he does in the other two at all. I think it falls flat in the other two. But I think in this one he's having a good time.
I think it's flat in all of them.
That's fair. That's pretty fair.
Like I feel like they could have. I don't know. Like you can tell because they're trying to go for this thing where it's like I don't want to pretend to be this guy. Like I just want to be Batman.
Yeah.
But like I don't think it's bad though. Like, what is your favorite movie Bruce Wayne?
Bruce Wayne specifically?
Yeah.
Keaton.
See,
it's between Keaton and Kilmer.
I like Kilmer.
I think Kilmer really crushes it in that movie. He's really good.
See, with Kilmer, I feel like he wants to be Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
And then we're just like, Batman's just a thing I gotta do.
Yeah, exactly. But I think he's a solid Batman, too.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you look at Clooney was born to be Bruce Wayne. He was not born to be Batman.
Yeah, Clooney's just like, I could be Clooney.
Yeah, Clooney's just
I
like,
could be part of Clooney.
I'm 98 Clooney. Like, that's all he is. You know? It's fine. Okay, if you were to rank your top 4 Batman movies.
Top 4 Batman movies.
Top 4.
Dark Knight.
Okay.
Batman Begins.
Is this in order? Number 1, Dark Knight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Dark Knight, Batman Begins, Batman Forever, I think. This definitely has to do with
Forever's
me
in my
being a
top
kid.
No, Forever's in my top 4.
Yeah.
I think Forever is great.
Yeah, I love Forever.
I think it's great.
I love the weird, sexual thing Kidman has for Batman.
Oh, man, does she want to get in Batman's pants? And it's so weird. But she has no interest in Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
That bit where she tells Batman that she's in love with Bruce Wayne, and he turns around, he's like, I understand, and then he does the smile because he's like, she doesn't know I'm Bruce Wayne. I still get it. That's the best.
And then
it'd be so good.
And then I think Returns is my 4th one.
Really?
Yeah.
Returns over Batman.
Yeah,
Ew.
I'm not sold on the Joker.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's fine, but
it's my favorite version of the Joker.
I really just don't like Joker that much.
Neither do I.
He's taking it in the direction that I don't like Joker. I don't like the I know his name's Joker. But I don't like the weird cartoony stuff they do with the Joker. I know you love this scene, but I hate the museum part where he just breaks his outfit.
So
I don't like it.
Oh, the party man scene.
I feel like it just is clashing with.
I love it because it has no place in that movie and it has no place in that world.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
Which makes sense for the Joker. Yeah.
He doesn't make sense in that world. He's Roger
just
Rabbit in the real
for
world.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like Pfeiffer as Catwoman.
Yeah.
And
then,
what's his name?
DeVito?
No. I like him, but Max Schreck.
Oh, yeah. Such a good, Christopher Walken. Max Schreck. He's the best villain in that movie. Such a good
sleaze.
He is the best villain in that movie. He's like Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, that's my 4.
Wow, okay.
What are yours?
Begins, genuinely, I mean this 100% really, Lego Batman movie.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
I think, that, that does a lot of legwork for that character. That's an honest interpretation to a painful amount. That is so genuine.
I do like that movie a lot. I don't think it could ever break my top 5.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because it has these really good ideas, which it executes well for the most part. But then there are parts where I'm just like, can we get to the next scene?
That's fair. That's fair. In fact, that might be my favorite on-screen Joker.
He's good.
Galifianakis was really good, and I like the pain in that character. I like the heart. Somehow he's the hero.
I love just the idea of it, connecting superheroes and villains being in a poly relationship.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
You're not my arch enemy or whatever.
Who's your arch nemesis? Right now, someone asks you, who's your arch nemesis? Superman. It's Superman's not a bad guy.
Such a good
I guess
joke.
I don't have one. I'm fighting other people right now. So good.
Yeah.
So Batman Begins, Lego Batman movie. That's hard. Probably Batman 89.
Mm.
And then probably Forever.
That's good.
I really love Forever.
Forever's, I love it.
It's not a good movie. I can admit that.
It has a very special place in there.
But man, I'm telling you, that Seal song just brings it all together, baby. That movie's so good. Even down to the stupid Chris O'Donnell doing his laundry and
karate laundry.
Yeah, that's so dumb.
It does not seem like it's being very effective.
But everything in that movie fits in that world. Everything makes complete sense for the world that they set up in that movie. Down to it's probably it's my second favorite Jim Carrey performance.
Oh, wow.
Other than the Truman Show, it's my favorite Jim Carrey performance. He's so good in that movie.
That is peak cartoon Carrey.
That is cartoon Carrey, yeah. Otherwise, like, I don't like Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
He's too much.
All right. Do you have any more comments to add?
Batman Begins had a lot of good toys.
It did.
Had a lot of good toys.
I just had a lot of cool stuff. I still wish I could own a Tumblr.
Yeah.
I remember when they were on actually selling them.
When they were selling street legal versions of the Tumblr. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
All right. So yeah, this is going to be the new way we do our podcast.
Let us know what you think.
It'll definitely have more form as it goes along. And even though we've been podcasting for a couple of years now, we're still learning.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Still gotta get in the flow of things.
We'll always figure things out.
Yeah, but definitely be expecting changes.
Yeah, anything else you got?
Expecting. Oh yeah, just changes coming along.
Yeah.
Thanks
for listening to this episode on the Subject. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to share it, subscribe, rate us on whatever podcast source you're using. For more content or to reach out to us, follow the podcast on Twitter and Instagram at On The Subject. And for more details, links are in our show notes. Thanks again.
This has been a Geeks Rising production. Your executive producer of Vandrew Scott. For more information, head over to www.geeksrising.com.